Welcome to Rainbow Soul Vodcast, where our soulstrology comes forward to help you manage your everyday life, with forecasts and deep dives on natal charts and queer perspectives on the planets, transits, and more. A group discussion about upcoming transits with tips on how to read these transits in your own chart. Hollis offers years of wisdom and natal chart knowledge with Bright Hawk's positive perspective and Lacrosse's inquiry. We offer the complete queer astrology experience. Welcome to Rainbow Soul. Please help us by subscribing, sharing, and commenting and reviewing. You can also learn where else Rainbow Soul is offered on our website at rainbowsoul.show.
Leo. All right, my Leo friends. Hey, are you having awakenings? Suddenly you're thinking of better ways to do it, or you're having an education in things, maybe intentionally or not. You're getting an education right now. And that's because there's a lot going on in Aries, okay? And there's a whole bunch going on in Aries, and that's your 9th house, okay? And so Leos, you're going to experience a lot of change, especially with Venus there. She's going to kind of move through there and bring beauty and love to all of your pieces of your education. So you might even find yourself loving the education, okay? Loving what's happening in this moment, even loving if it's super busy and whatever's going on, you'll still be like, I don't know, I kind of love this. This is going well. And so, and especially you might have some discourse or some parts with your friends that might not feel too great. Some parts of it, they might be able to help you, but then there might be other times that it's not really helpful. And so, just be wary of your friends because Mars is in Gemini in the 11th house. And, the moon will move from the 11th house to the 1st house. So that means it's going to start out with your friends and stuff, and then it's going to move into something else that you don't really notice again, right? That 12th house, it's hard to notice. And then into the 1st house, which would be about your identity, okay? Because Leo, when the moon lands in your sign, it's going to ask you to step forward, to be a leader, to take charge, but not do it in an arrogant way, hopefully. Try not to let your emotions take over. So just, allow that to be in the most positive way, hopefully. And Ceres will start out the week in opposition to Venus, and as Venus moves through, she'll move out of that opposition. Ceres is about nurturing yourself, especially your siblings and your community and the people around you. And, it will move out of it, so it will go back to focusing on relationships. But Ceres in Libra is probably going to be mostly about relationships, but especially for you, it could be about siblings or people in your community. And, and Mercury is going to move through your house of relationships, okay? And so, Leos, if you're noticing that your love relationships, again, maybe you haven't been nurturing them enough, right? Okay, so pay attention to your relationship because what's going on is Mercury's over in the 7th house and it's going to move over top of Saturn. So it could push some messages, it could deliver some messages to you where you're like, oh man, and you just didn't realize something or you missed something. And that happens in relationships, and what's important is that we just say we're sorry and try to make it better, okay? And so when Mercury does that, and once Mercury goes into Pisces, it will be in your 8th house. So it could be about sex. I'm just saying, could be. That could come up. It definitely could come up. Maybe there's some sexual things that you and your partner need to explore. Okay, Leo. So that's for Leo. Did you want to add anything, Bright Hawk?
I think you did a good job there.
My Virgo friends, you love all these sections of the houses, don't you? In the 8th house, there is a busy thing going on there in Aries, right? And that's what 8th house Aries. So if you notice a lot going on around sex, death, and taxes, or shadow things, your shadow, you want to do some shadow work. Maybe there's some beauty. Maybe you've learned to recognize some parts of your shadow, or some parts of these things are actually quite beautiful. Especially as Venus moves through there, she's going to try to highlight the pretty parts. Because even though, because the 8th house is a house of taboo, and just because we don't talk about things doesn't mean they're not beautiful. Doesn't mean they're not beautiful. It just means that we don't talk about it. And so, you may find yourself wanting to talk about it, especially with Mercury moving from your 6th house of daily life into the 7th house of relationships. Maybe it's about sex or something else. Especially with Mercury there, Mercury's going to say, hey, let's talk about this. And it's going to change the way you do things. It's going to change specifically your foundation and how you approach things. And Ceres is in your house of values and money. So also make sure you're nurturing any relationships that bring in money. Okay. So maybe it's just as simple as saying thank you. Sometimes Virgos, we just get caught up in what's next, especially with Mercury taking off there, our ruling planet, trying to take off over top of Saturn. We could easily get lost and forget to nurture a relationship, especially business relationships or relationships that have to do with money. And also be sure you're honoring your values, okay? Mm-hmm. Nurture your values. And the moon, Gemini, is in the 10th house. So that's Mars. So regarding business and work, Mars is like, get it done, get it done, get it done, get it done. And there could be some times where you feel a little like overwhelmed, especially when in the beginning of the week when moon is there. Intuitive, maybe you have some intuitive ideas about maybe making things more efficient or easier, especially in Gemini moon there. It's going to accentuate your thoughts. But the moon is also going to mean that you might be moving too fast. And I know for me personally, sometimes I move too fast, and then I don't say things like my emotions get, like, people just take me the wrong way, and I'm like, nah, I just was moving fast. That's not what I meant. Not at all. And so just make sure you go back and explain yourself if that happens to you. And just try to slow down a little bit if you can, especially when you're communicating with others.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well said. I don't have anything to add.
Okay. And Venus
is Virgo very well, and I always learn from you on that one. I'm a Virgo rising, Hollis is a Virgo sun, so we're with you.
Yeah.
And Lacrosse is a Virgo rising, right?
Yep, sure am.
Virgo in the house.
Hey, Virgo. Yep. The reason Virgos are good at astrology is because our key word is I analyze. So if you have a strong Virgo placement and you want to study astrology, hey, you're on the right track, because Virgos, there's other signs that are also good at astrology, of course, but that's why Virgos are good, because we can look at it and analyze the chart. That's pretty much what happens. So that's pretty much what we're all doing.
Thank you for listening to this week's Soulstrology and subscribing, liking, sharing, and reviewing. We hope you enjoy this dose of Soulstrology and encourage you to embrace the week ahead with an open mind and heart so that you may integrate the deepest of lessons from the stars. Take a moment to step outside and honor the planets, stars, and moon in the sky with your heart. Integrate the messages that resonate and leave the rest for someone else. We deeply appreciate each and every one of you. Always remember that you are a perfectly unique human with an exclusive star map of your destiny, your soul purpose, and your heart's desire. Thank you again for tuning in to Rainbow Soul.